He continues to say that those who are of full age, there is a character that you will find in them. And the character is they have exercised.
Holy Spirit, you are welcomed here. Holy Spirit, you are welcomed here. You are welcomed in my life.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Pursuing Life More Abundantly. I hope that you've had a great week, and I am glad that you are joining me once again. So, as we have learned, salvation is the first step into choosing life. Receiving Jesus, who is the life giver, is our first step to choosing life. There are some who have chosen to reject Jesus, and by so doing, they continue in death and die. And there are others who have rejected Jesus because they only perceive him or see him as their ticket into heaven, and they don't see the benefit of having Jesus while on earth. And there are others who came to Jesus and gave their life to Jesus, thinking that this was salvation. And previously we've looked into this and discovered that the true concept of salvation is not us giving our lives to Jesus, but coming to Jesus to receive life. And because that concept of giving your life to Jesus is wrong, the results that you get from that relationship will also be wrong. So your life will not reflect Jesus because in the first place you never received him. There are others who have the true concept of salvation and have come and received life from Jesus. But even though they've received Jesus, they do not fully understand that they have received a life giver. And there are others who are aware that they have received a life giver, but death will still come because maybe their faith hasn't grown to a level where they can believe for life without death. Jesus spoke in Matthew 16:28 and said, "Assuredly I say to you, there are some standing here who shall not taste death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom." So there is that kind of life that you can live without tasting death. My question to us is, which category do we fall in? Do we fall in the category of rejecting Jesus completely? Or do we fall in the category of rejecting Jesus because we think he's just a ticket into heaven? Or are you one who believes that you come to Jesus to give your life to him, then salvation takes place? Or are you one who knows the true concept of salvation, that salvation is coming to Jesus to receive life from him, but yet you don't fully understand that you have received a life giver? Or are you one who has received Jesus and you are aware and understand that he's a life giver, but your faith has not grown to a level where you can believe for a life without tasting death? And finally, are you one who is believing for a life that can be lived, a life that you will not taste death? Receiving Jesus, who is the life giver, is our first step to choosing life. And to continue in that life, our daily decisions come into play. The decisions that we make daily we are either choosing life or choosing death. So the question is it obvious when we are making decisions whether we are choosing life or we are choosing death? How can we know, or how can we equip ourselves to choose life as we make daily decisions? I want us to read from Hebrew 5, verse 13 and 14. And this is what it says. For everyone who partakes only of milk is unskilled in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But solid food belongs to those who are of full age, that is, those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. So the word is telling us here that those who only take milk are unskilled in the word of righteousness. Milk here is not the milk that you drink, and the solid food here is not actual eating of your food. It's referring to the teachings that you listen to. Are they building you up? Are they building your spirit man up? The reason you eat is that you may grow. So is the word that you're listening to helping you in your growth as a child of God, as a daughter of God, as a son of God? Are you growing? Can you look at yourself from the point that you received Jesus as your Lord and Savior and say that you've grown from one level to another? You have grown from faith to faith. That's what this is referring to. The King James Version says, for the solid food, it says strong meat. So it says strong meat is for those who are of full age. So from the point of salvation, you are okay to have milk. But if you want to move to the level of solid food, if you want to move to the level of strong meat, then there has to be growth. You have to attain a certain age. You have to come to a certain level of growth in your walk as a child of God, in your walk as a son of God, in your walk as a daughter of God. He continues to say that those who are of full age, there's a character that you find in them. And this character is that they have exercised their senses and they are able to discern good and evil. And in our content, they have exercised their senses and they are able to discern whether a decision is unto life or unto death. So for us to be able to choose life on a daily basis as we make our decisions, we have to be spiritually mature. Spiritually mature that we are able to discern whether we are making a choice towards life or death. And if the choice that is presented to us is leading to death, then we can walk away. On this journey of pursuing life and choosing life, we have to continually learn. So the question comes back to you to evaluate yourself and find out what kind of information are you learning. Is it quality information so that you can gain that skill of discerning whether a decision is leading you to life or is leading you to death? Thank you so much for your time. I'm wishing you a great week ahead, and I will see you guys next week on Monday.